Questions? Coach, with Keaton starting this week and things, would that change anything at all as far as game plan wise, what you guys can do or can't do?
No, I don't think so. I think Keaton's well prepared. He's had a great offseason as well, and he's a good fit for what we do offensively. So, no, I think anything we would do with Nick, we'd be doing with KT as well. So we kind of have that luxury. We're fortunate too.
Is there any change in the dynamic in the quarterback room with Nick being treated as a starter through spring and preseason, now this 1 week KT's the guy before reverting back? Is there a different dynamic because of that?
No, honestly, there isn't. It's kind of been business as usual with us. We have the next man in process, thought process, and that's, we believe in it, and we're fortunate to have another quarterback that can step in there and we feel be just as effective. And so we are business as usual.
What are you hoping to see from the offense when you leave the stadium on Saturday?
It's the beginning of starting that identity that we've talked about since we got here. We want to be an explosive offense. We want to be able to run the ball and throw the ball. And it's time to start that identity and let the physicality of our football team show up. And so all that stuff, executing at a high level, showing the physicality, showing the explosiveness that we have. We need to lay the groundwork for that for the whole season this weekend.
When you look at last year at Penn State with what Joe Moorhead did, he had 4 pass catchers over 50 catches, 2 receivers, a tight end, and a running back. Would that ratio surprise you if it happened this year? Do you think you can get a running back or a tight end with 50 catches?
I absolutely do. It's been that way since I've been around this offense back in 2008. So that ball's going to get distributed. We're fortunate to have some playmakers in a bunch of different positions. So I don't see that changing much, as far as our mentality and our approach.
The SFA prep started Friday, right? How did Nick kind of adapt in practice?
No, he was awesome, man. Like he's a rock. I mean, he's from the time that we got here until this point. I mean, he's grown tremendously. And I went up and shook his hand after him approaching the team with that and everything. He's a rock, man, and he's there for KT right now, and he's there for the rest of the guys. He's bought into that process, and he's been tremendous. He really has. He's locked in and focused, even though he's going through all this stuff.
What do you think it is about him that enabled him to win the captain's vote after this?
His actions spoke louder than any words he could have. I mean, everything he's done, he's approached it like a pro. He really has, and he's hungry, and you can see it, and he wants it. He spends a lot of time with it, and the guys recognize that, and I think it was an easy choice for the guys.
How would you describe Harris's approach to football?
Dude, he's as physical of a football player as I've ever been around. He really is. He's an attacking young man, and when he touches that turf, he can turn it on, and he practices hard. He practices the right way. He has a high football IQ, and I'm looking forward to obviously never getting a chance to see him live. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I really am, because he's a violent guy and he plays that way.
Was there a point of emphasis with him in terms of adapting his pre-existing skill set to this exact scheme?
No, I think it's more about just, understanding his role within the offense and how the running back fits into it, and the expectation of being able to do a bunch of different things. And I'm not exactly sure what his role was before, but I think he quickly adapted to it and recognized the things that he can do really well. And we recognize the things he can do really well. And, spring ball, you saw it. Camp, you saw it a ton. And he's been sharp. We're excited for him.
When you look at the depth chart, all of the outside receivers were over 6'2", except for Malik Deer. Mm-hmm. What's the thought process of putting him outside instead of in the slot?
Well, he's been doing both. I think the majority these last couple of days he's been outside, but he's been doing both all camp. Him and Dedrick have both been doing inside and outside all camp, and that's again just we got a good group of guys in that room that we feel we got to find a way to get the best people on the field, and where do they fit, and we're trying to see different skill sets do different things. And so that's just part of that evaluation and opportunity. If things don't, if guys that we feel are going to be in the game and we need, someone goes down or we need somebody, we need to have different guys that can go out there and perform. So that's part of more preparation for Dedrick and him to get more slot in outside. So if we need them there, they can.
Going off of that, the 3 guys who are listed as starters at receiver are all 6'3" or taller. How important is height and range, reach in your guys' offense?
Well, I think, I'm a former quarterback, and anytime you can throw the ball to a taller guy, it's obviously, it's a good thing. But that's not the most important thing. It really isn't. Doing what you're supposed to do the way you're supposed to do it is the most. and the group of 6 guys that we have kind of rotating through are all doing that. And then you got to catch the football when it's thrown to you. So those are things that we're worried about more than necessarily height. But the height is just when you're a quarterback and you have a bigger target, you can leave the ball in different places and have the expectation that they're going to be able to get their hands on it.
How did y'all settle on Justin and Farad getting the top reps at tight end? What about them kind of made that happen?
What made them become 1 and 2? You're saying?
Yeah.
Again, their action. Those 2 have just been all over it. I mean, Justin was a little nicked up in spring, and he came out in camp and just killed it from the start. Farad's as solid as a guy as we have on our offense. He's been that way since the day I got here. He's very accountable, dependable guy. So we got 2 guys we really trust, and I feel good about.
Coach Moorhead kept saying that when it got time for game week, that's when you would have a little bit more clarity on dispersion of carries between Eris and Kylan. Do you guys know what your game plan is as far as that goes? Or is
Not specifically. I think as anything, you got to be smart as the season starts, and you got to protect them a little bit too. And then I think as the season goes, we have 2 really good ones, and that's how backs go. When one gets hot, you kind of end up riding them. And I think either one of them can be that guy any week. So they're both going to get opportunities, and a lot of them. I think they're two people we have to get the ball in their hands if we want to be who we want to be and play the way we want to play. So they're both important guys for us.
If Nick was playing, would Jalen Maiden play in this game?
Potentially, the whole, you can play guys in 4 games and get red shirts. I think potentially, I don't see any reason why that couldn't be up for a discussion, because we can do that with any of our young freshmen and then not burn red shirts anymore. So I would say that discussion would be happening for sure.
Jalen gets to get on the field this week. How scaled back would the offense be with him running?
I mean, it's not going to be what KT would have, but he's done a great job too now. I mean, he's, for a guy just coming in and as a young pup, by no means is he where Nick or KT are, but I think we all feel really good about where he can go out there and function at a high level though.
Did you see a spike in KT's intensity once Friday hit and he was taking all the reps at once?
No, I really haven't. I mean, the good thing about the way we practice, especially all camp, is guys are getting a ton of reps. So he's prepared as heck, and he's done this before. I mean, he did this for this football team last year, and so I think he's just he's been himself, and he's got that baller in him, man. And when he's around that football, his personality comes out, and every day on the practice field it's been like that.